I think we've been trained to see that healing should happen in a particular way and particular step. And I think through that model, we have become disempowered, and we've forgotten or completely unaware that we have the ability to create change and create transformation and healing. I am strong if we provide ourselves with the proper environment. I am grounded and we practice the proper tools, the internal environment and the external environment. I am empowered. What I love about what I share with people, what I guide people through, is that they can begin to see another way, that they can create their own healing and their own transformation through yoga and through all the tools. I am grateful. They can take their power back on that path. They can become strong. And with that empowerment, they can then create the change. I am connected. And create a new life for themselves. I always ask my clients every time they walk in, how are you feeling and how do you want to feel? And I think that that should be part of our mental health hygiene. You know, every day we brush our teeth, we wash our face, we eat, we take care of ourselves. That is self-care. It's important to be able to check in and see how you're doing and acknowledging if the choices that you've made are depleting. Ultimately, I feel like we should all aspire to live an authentic life and to tune into our authentic self. So often I find that people have no idea who that is. And I wouldn't be here if I was not also in that place at one point. And so yoga for me is what helped me get there. So living a life of authenticity allows us to be truthful with ourselves first. That's the most important thing. If we don't speak our truth, then what's the point of all of our experiences on this planet? It's really about, like, are you honoring yourself and what brings you joy and what brings you peace and what brings you into a place of balance, being able to manage a lot of different things at once, but still coming back to that trueness in you. We often think about speaking our truth in reference to somebody else, but what I've found especially after witnessing so much healing in people, is that us speaking our truth to ourselves, that's where the healing begins. So one of the things that we'll do in the beginning of the process of working together is asking them to come into a dialogue with themselves, because the body's really good at being the messenger. And whether it's through little things, I'm coming to Liz for my tight hips, or I'm coming to Liz because my back really hurts. What they might start to realize is that every time they're in a particular situation, is they might just sort of clamp down, and that's a fear-based response. And so when you offer somebody the opportunity that first where they feel safe, and then secondly where they can come into a dialogue with their body, and they acknowledge that they might be feeling tightness in a particular space. I mean, wild things happen, and people say, oh my gosh, I know where that's coming from. That's coming from a place of fear, or that's coming from a place of sadness or whatever. We acknowledge that from a place of love and acceptance, acknowledge the message that the body is sharing with us. No judgment. We got to let all judgment go when we're on the mat working together, and then start to build trust with the body, that it's okay to come into a pose of openness, or maybe it's not. Maybe we're like, all right, cool, hang out in child's pose for a little while, wrap up in that fetal position, and create this dialogue of safety where your body starts to feel comfortable just being present. And then maybe we pull out the lion's breath, right? So I have to do it, I guess. So you taking a breath, everybody do it with me, right? Taking a breath. You stick out your tongue and you let it go. And then you do it a few times. But then you see the shift from this person who's like angry and all bound up. And then just after doing that breath and then working through the practice, a few minutes later, they just feel a little lighter. So bringing together the coach and teammate partnership, me acting as both the coach and teammate. First, it's important that they feel safe and that they feel honored and comfortable in their surroundings, and that they also feel empowered to speak their truth. Because truly, if they don't, then I'm not going to be able to do my job. So I always say to them too, like, it's really important that you're honest with me. If it doesn't feel so good, tell me and we'll move on to something else. As their teammate, I want them to be able to express what works and what's not working. I want to be able to, and I encourage them to keep practicing something that they've been doing. But as the coach, I'm also going to call you out, right? If you're not doing what we've been talking about, and we both have come to this place of agreement where these are the kinds of habits that we need to change, or thought processes that we need to change, or starting to do your own practice, whatever it is, the homework maybe, if you're not doing it, you're not going to get there. Recently, I have a client, she's been stuck just in life and all of her circumstances, and she was a classic example of, this sounds silly, but I want to create joy. I want to feel joy again. I've experienced joy before. I know I can get there, but I don't know how to get there. And we were working through this concept of letting things go that she has no control over, and acknowledging how she's taking care of herself. And so we created this little bubble right around her, and she feels good in that bubble. And at the end of her practice, she looks at me and she goes, I finally get where we're going. I'm feeling it. I'm starting to feel that joy. And I'm starting to allow myself to take care of myself. And I'm actually starting to experience it with my friends, by myself, with my family. And it's those moments where I can't even describe, really, because they're doing the work. I don't do the work. They're doing it. And that to me is the coolest thing, because they're coming out of this empowered and realizing that they've arrived because they did the work. And I love that. Yeah, that's why I do what I do. Yeah.